Hello, thanks for checking in. It's Lori with Care Partners Resource and Consulting. And today what we're going to do is review the techniques used in March's CAREthartic conversation. So the topic of the conversation was the struggle is real. And I think for most of us caregivers, we really do acknowledge that. There's so much to be concerned about in this day and age, not only your loved one's health or maybe your health or COVID. You may be one of those caregivers that's dealing with a family conflict or, just expenses in general, the cost of medication, the cost of food and gas, or even world affairs. Those are all things that cause us distress and concern right now. And so the topic of the conversation was, how do you not get stuck there? How can you step outside of those situations and find a more positive outlook, which can be really challenging when you're caring for a loved one. And oftentimes, the information that you're hearing from doctors or family members can be difficult and a struggle, especially when your loved one's health is at risk or challenging at the time. So definitely, the struggle that we're dealing with is definitely real. So don't question yourself when you start stressing out or having challenges. The goal here is to simply have a practice in place so that when you start getting caught up in that struggle, caught up in the negativity, that you have a way to get out of it. And the first thing that I always recommend is just breathing. Take 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and step away from the situation and just breathe. So that's how we usually start my sessions, is with some deep breathing. The best thing that works is to take a breath in for 5 seconds, hold it for 5 seconds, and let it out for 5 seconds. And actually, some of the research that I'm reading now says that it's even better if you breathe in through your nose, hold it, and then breathe out through your nose for the count of 5. So try to do that 3 to 4, even 5 times. And that is a really good way to calm yourself. Also, try stretching every day. Just find a free YouTube video or anything on the internet. It's easy to find, or just, do some simple stretching, whatever your body allows you to do. But that's also a good way to wake up your muscles and help you to start feeling better. It's all about how you feel physically and emotionally, right? We also, the first thing that we did was we started with a 5-minute journaling technique. It's called a 5-minute sprint. And what we did, we used as the prompt was, what's keeping me up at night right now is. Okay, so that prompt again is, what's keeping me up at night right now is. So what you're going to do is you would set a timer for 5 minutes. You want to write for 5 minutes, and as soon as that timer goes off, you want to stop. Finish your sentence if you're close to a finish there, but stop when that timer goes off. It doesn't help to go on and on and on and on in your journaling. You should always set a timer. In most therapeutic writing techniques, the requirement is only about 5 to 7 minutes of writing. So once you're done writing, you want to read what you wrote, and you want to do what we call a feedback write. So you want to write for 2 more minutes, starting with, reading this, I understand, or reading this, I realize. Something to help you get to a recognition of what you wrote. Reading this, I am surprised by. Okay, and you're going to set a timer again, and you're going to write for 2 more minutes. When that's finished, you should have a little bit of an aha moment, something that's making you recognize what is keeping you up. And you want to then try to define what you can do to resolve that, whatever is keeping you up. If it's expenses, if it's finances, start doing a little research in your area about resources that are available. There are a lot of medicine places like GoodRx or different discount things that the doctor can offer you. Maybe he can give you samples. A good place to start is to ask your pharmacist. Also, local area agency on aging or social services have food programs. Perhaps they can help you with some discounts for food or resources that you can go to get a discount on your food. And, if it's a family dynamic that's happening, that's giving you a challenge, try to set up a family meeting. And sometimes it's really helpful to have a mediator come in and help you hold a productive conversation with family members. There's some of those resources are available on my website, which is CAREthartic. It's a free website. And so feel free to go in there and click on the page that says resources, and then there's some downloadable things that you can print and places that you can go to that will help you find resources for family mediation or self-care and many different things like that. The second writing technique that we did is what's called a character sketch. And what we did there was we put ourselves in the place of someone else who might be watching us. So we might be in the eyes of our loved one watching us at a time when we're in complete distress or filled with anxiety. What are they seeing? How do they feel about how you're reacting to certain situations? Or maybe you have a neighbor who ran into you and on a particularly challenging day, and what might they be seeing? We even had one person who's, we did it from the perspective of her pet, her dog. What did her dog see? How was she behaving in her dog's eyes on that particular day when she was really stressed out? So the prompt that we used was, and again, remember, it's on a day when you're particularly stuck in a negative type of focus. And so you're going to use this prompt. Today, I saw, and insert your name, and it felt like maybe they were, right? So in other words, I'm Lori, right? So my neighbor saw me and she says, today I saw Lori and it felt like she was really filled with anxiety. I wonder what she was stressed about or something. You continue to write for 7 minutes. You want to write for 7 full minutes on that topic. What is that person seeing? And you want to do it from the perspective of all your senses. So, how did she hear you reacting? What was your tone like? What did your facial expression look like? Even, what were you wearing? So that you get the whole feeling of this is how you interact with people when you're filled with anxiety and stress. And again, set your timer. When that timer goes off, you're going to read what you wrote, and then you're going to write for 2 more minutes, starting with something like, reading this, I realize, or reading this, I recognize, so that you get an awareness of what it is other people sense or see when you're having a particularly difficult day. I think that a lot of times we as caregivers have many of those days, but we think that we're hiding it so well. We think that we are interacting with people differently than maybe we are. Maybe our temper is shorter than we normally would be, or maybe we just are depressed or withdraw from people altogether. We don't really interact. So when someone reaches out to us, we just have very short answers so we can get on our way and sort of go back to our hiding a little bit or whatever. And so it's good to see how other people perceive us. And that's the point of that particular journal writing technique. And then when you see that, think about it and think about how you can resolve those situations. What is making you feel sad or negative or depressed, or what is your struggle, right? And then find ways to work around the struggle. So nobody can deny that the struggle is real. It is. But there are things you can do to lessen it and feel better and more in control. So get informed. That's one way. Get yourself informed about your loved one's health or whatever, you might be worried about. Make a positivity plan. Check out my YouTube page. I have a couple of series ago, one of our topics was designing and making a positivity plan. So if you're lacking that and you need ideas on how to stay more positive, check out that video. And finally, live in the now. When you're in a state of worry, that means you're worried about the future. You're living in the future. But if you live in the now, you're not going to be concerned about what's going to happen or what maybe could happen. Just live in today and what you can control and what you can manage. So I hope this recording was helpful for you. If you like the idea of therapeutic journal writing, please check out my Facebook page at Care Partners Resource and Consulting. I have a lot of journal techniques on there and free prompts, or go to my website, carepartnersresource.com. And finally, check out my YouTube page at Care Partners Resource. I have a lot of recorded videos there that you might find helpful. So anyway, I hope this was a helpful recording for you today. And until I see you again, take good care.